Hello patrons, welcome back to another new tutorial. I hope you're all keeping very well. I am painting a very nice little scene for you this time. I suppose it's more of a kind of a wintry, sunsetty sort of a waterfall scene, and it's lots of lovely, warm, kind of pinky, mauvey type of purpley type of colours going through it. It's going to be really lovely. I can't wait to paint this. I was kind of browsing through my gallery on my phone, thousands and thousands upon thousands of images there for painting and that kind of, for getting ideas and that kind of thing, you know. So I spotted this and I thought, yeah, this is going to be beautiful. My patrons will love this. So yeah, we're going to do that this week. So yeah, I hope you're all keeping very well. I'm keeping very busy with my work and my painting, and I'm getting ready for Christmas, you know, all the Christmas markets, that kind of thing. So I'm very busy painting little scenes in the background and making frames and that kind of stuff. So it's really kind of very busy. It's a very busy time of the year for me, especially around Christmas, because I have lots of commissions to do for people, for presents, as I said, getting stuff ready for markets and fairs. So it's really busy, and I hope you appreciate that. I really do hope you understand that I am, you know, I like to try and get as much material online as I can, because I don't want you to feel like that you're forgotten about or anything like that. But you know, I really love painting for you and chatting with you and, you know, having a bit of banter. And please do message me if you have any questions whatsoever, alright? I'd be only too happy to answer your questions. And in fact, if you have any tutorials that you would like me to paint, don't be shy, just ask me. I'd be delighted. I really would. Any suggestions whatsoever. If there's something troubling you with a particular type of tree, or if you would like to learn more about clouds or something like that, I can do one just for you. There's no problem at all, okay? Because I value your support. I really do. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this. I have a canvas here. Let me turn around and show you. Now, I have a nice little wide canvas here. It's 20 inches by 8 inches. Alright, and you can see a lovely little waterfall sketched out in the background, and I have my palette here. Now, a simple tearaway palette, a paper palette. I use nice thick paints because they don't slide down the palette. Alright, so I use Georgian paints, and I'll show you what I mean. Georgian by Dollar and Roney, okay? They're the paints I use, and I also use Windsor and Newton as well. These are the only two types of paints that I use, and you can mix them together perfectly well. And they're very thick, pasty colours, you see? Really thick and pasty, and that's what I like because it gives great coverage. I know some of the cheaper paints are very thin, and they just kind of, they run and they don't mix very well. They're a bit like, I suppose you could compare them a bit like acrylics. But yes, some of the paints are very thin. I like a good quality paint. So if you can afford it, buy a decent paint. It makes all the difference, it really does. Okay, now I have my phone here set up with an image on my phone. Let me power it on here and see what we have. Okay, now I need to switch this around. Now, there's the photograph. A beautiful waterfall, lovely warm colours. Isn't that gorgeous? That's what we're painting today. So I have my brushes, lots of different flats, very worn, some very fine, a couple of pointy brushes, a couple of fan brushes. So that's kind of basically it. I want to show you, actually, this is the first book I ever bought. Would you believe that? Painting with oils. And I bought this about, it says about 20 years. And I only ever bought a couple of books, maybe 3 or 4 different types of books, because I prefer to teach myself and get my own ideas and learn my own little techniques as I go along. But you know, this is one of the very first books I ever had, and it just gives basic hints and tips on composition and getting a painting ready, that type of stuff. So I suppose this kind of really sparked off my passion for painting. You know, little colour charts, that type of stuff, basic information. And I also did watercolours for a very long time. I do miss the watercolours, but I prefer the oils, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, they're just a sample of some of the books I have. These are ancient now, they're very, very old books, to be quite honest. So yeah, you know, it's nice to kind of look back on them and look through them every now and again. So there we go. That's my studio. All my bits and pieces. There's Bob, good old Bob, looking over me, making sure I do it properly. And you know, it's great. I love my painting. I love what I do. So thank you so much. And look, let's crack on with this and have a bit of fun. Yeah, don't go anywhere. Okay, here we go. There's a photograph now, and that's a lovely photograph, isn't it? Lovely warm colours. Now, there is one thing that I want to do with the sky. Now, there's a very nice bright patch of cloud up here, isn't there? I just want to kind of leave the outline of that cloud very loosely, just so I don't cover all of this with lots of paint. So I can just leave that little outline then free. So we can put lovely bright colours in there. That's it. A quick sketch. My colours are titanium white, Naples yellow, cadmium yellow pale, a little phthalo blue, some magenta, which is a very nice colour. I don't use it very often, but I like to use it for these types of scenes because you can see there's a lot of that kind of colour in there. A lovely magenta, pinky magenta. We also have a little crimson, some burnt umber and black. Excuse me. So they are the basic colours, a nice warm kind of a palette. I'm not sure if I want to use some burnt sienna yet. I might, I'm just not 100% sure. I don't think we need it, to be quite honest with you. So let's go and have a bit of fun with this. Now we can use a small brush for this. We don't need a big stubby. If we even have a medium stubby, we could use something like that as well. Okay. But I'm going to use something which is a little has a little more body in the brush. I just find that the medium stubby at the moment is still quite flat and soft. It's not bulked up yet as much as I want it to be. So something like this, that's much more sort of bulky, and even something like that, it's a bit tougher because it's being used a bit more. So something like that will cover very well with all this paint, you see. Now let's crack on. So a medium kind of a flat brush, all right. Something nice and tough. And by the way, these are all bristles. Not bristles, I apologise. God, buff. They're synthetics, soft synthetic brushes. Very soft here, okay? Nice and smooth and soft. That's what I use. So you can see now we have a lovely rich kind of a blue coming over to a pink, don't we? So let's paint this now and let's kind of help the composition. Let's work with the composition and let's learn about keeping the colours nice and warm in the painting, not putting too many contrasting colours on. So we're going to be helping colours with different colours, okay, here and there. And you can see that in the photograph. There's lots of the warm kind of orangey yellow complements the kind of the pinks and the blues even. So let's try it. Let's take a brush, let's dampen it with some turpentine, just a little, okay? I have a little jar of turpentine here, we'll drop a little seed oil in it. And I'm going to be just dipping it in and drying it like that, okay? Just take the excess off. So it's not soaking wet, but it's nice and damp, okay? And you can add as you go. Add little touches of turpentine to moisten the brush as you go. So I'm going to take some phthalo blue. Okay, nice rich phthalo blue. That's a very rich, vibrant blue, and it has loads of saturation. Okay, and by saturation I mean it's very rich and vibrant, and it doesn't lose its vibrancy very easily. Whereas something like burnt umber or Naples yellow will, because they're very opaque kind of colours. So we've this lovely rich blue here now, and into that we can choose between magenta or crimson. I'm not sure. Let's try a touch of magenta for a change, because we hardly ever use magenta, do we? And in fact, let's try a touch of crimson as well. Look, why not? Magenta, crimson, and plenty of blue. And this is a lovely dark rich colour up in this corner here, isn't it? Look. Excuse me. So I'm just kind of looking at them both. I'm looking at this and looking at the reference photograph. Just try and get it somewhere near. It doesn't have to be exact, okay? And I'm going to take touches of magenta as I go and sort of soften them into it here and there. So you can see how wet now my brush is. My brush is quite wet, but it's not watery. It's not a kind of a watercolor, but it's really well thinned out with thinners. And again, I always take a little knob of white just to thicken it up slightly, and then I just add a touch of thinners as I need to. Okay, just a little touch. Now I'm going to go as far as there with that. All right. And I might start adding some pink into it. So I'll just give this a rub. I won't wash it. The one thing I never do in oil painting is I never dip my brush in and swish it around like this, because you will ruin your turpentine immediately. I'll just dip it in once, back out straight away, and then give it a wipe. Okay, look, I'll show you. I'm dipping it in, back out, okay, and then let the paint soak into the tissue. Let the paint soak out of your brush. That's how I do it. Okay? Now, let's just take some magenta and plenty of white. Now, that's a bit thick, you see. So I'm going to take a touch of turpentine, just a little touch on the corner. I'm not kind of letting the turpentine soak into the brush. Rather, I'm just kind of scooping a little bit out. Do you understand? So we have a little bit of turpentine there. Now that little bit of blue on the brush is helping, you see. It's coming out of the brush and it's going to soften that pink slightly. So now we have a little kind of a mauve colour, don't we? And I'm going to soften that into that lovely blue just here and there, okay? See? And also notice that I'm coming down at a slight angle with my brush. Okay? Now, go right down there into your mountains. So I dip it in again, give it a clean, just a quick clean, pick up some white, let's go for some magenta and a touch of crimson this time. And then let's go across here. Now I'm not going into the blue just yet, because it's nice and pink over here, isn't it? Excuse me, I have an awful cough this morning. More white, little magenta, little touch of crimson. Come up here. Just kind of scrub it around. Now I'm going to come across here and I'm going to soften it into the blue just here and there, you see? And then I'm also going to kind of bring the blue across into the pink. Do you understand what I mean? So it's all softening nicely together now. Okay, now I'll give my brush another quick clean. I just want to keep my brush nice and fresh in between colours. I'll take some crimson and magenta. And we have this very nice warm kind of colour, this pinky warm, salmony pinky colour around here. So I'm just going to kind of soften it over here and there. Now I know where my pencil lines are. I can still kind of make them out just slightly, alright, so not to worry. I only put the pencil lines there because I don't want to put blue over this area. I want to keep it nice and light. Now I'm going to add some of this pinky colour just through here and there. Look, just sort of flicking it through, suggesting clouds. When it gets dirty, give it a wipe. And let's go again. Let's put a little bit through here like that, you see? Again, giving it a little clean. And I'm going to take magenta, little crimson, and I'm going to take a touch of Naples yellow, because there's a very sort of a warm, kind of an orangey colour popping up here and there, isn't there? And I can see there's also a little bit of blue over in this corner, isn't there? So I'll take some of the blue with some magenta, and I might pop a little bit of that in just here and there. And there's a very good reason now for this, because when I go to put in my bright colour in the centre, I'll have this lovely dark colour as a backdrop, you see. Now I want to go more magenta with this. There we go. And I'm just remembering to try and keep it warm rather than cold. So there's lots of kind of pinks going on, you see? Lots of pinks and blues. And I might even add some of that colour over here as well. A little bit more pink perhaps. Now I am trying to kind of keep this nice and simple. I don't want to kind of overdo the complication in this. I want to try and keep it simple. So for now I'm just going to let that as it is. I'm going to just take a soft brush and soften it. Just soften some of these together very gently, okay? Down at an angle like this. Let's just soften it all together. Make it nice and soft. A nice soft sky. Like so. Now let's step back and just take a look, and we can decide, do we need to darken it or do we need to lighten it or whatnot, okay? So the next step now is, I'm going to take a clean brush, I'm going to take, we'll say, my soft stubby, okay? My medium stubby, and there's a very rich warm colour going on around here. It's a mauve kind of a colour. I'm going to take some magenta, a little bit of crimson, and a tiny bit of blue. And then some white, okay? Some white into that. There's a very rich kind of a colour. It's very hard to describe. It's a little bit of magenta and there's a touch of Naples yellow in it as well. It's a very sort of a warm orangey kind of a tone popping through here and there. And it's really, really nice, and it's really complementing the blue. So look, I'm just going to put a little hint of it through here and there. Okay? And it's a dry brush. It's very, very, very dry. There we go. And that would even do, I think. That's probably just enough. Just around there. Next we have lovely bright clouds, don't we? And this is where it gets interesting and fun. So we have lots of lovely little bright cloud. I'm going to take a smaller brush, okay? It's a small flat, but it's very worn out. It's very splayed, you see? Now I'm going to dampen that very slightly and dry it on my tissue. And then, just with paint on its own, right? I'm going to mix a nice bright colour. Now let me get some white up here. And to begin with, I'm not going to put too much yellow into this. I'm just going to take some white. I'm going to take a touch of crimson. And that's already gone very whitey kind of a pink. Then a touch of Naples yellow. Now I want it kind of slightly more on the pinky side to begin with, okay? And I'm going to go up here then, and I'm going to just start putting in these very nice bright clouds. Now I think I want a little bit more yellow and a bit more pink. So I'm going to make it slightly sort of richer, okay? See, I'm only adding tiny, tiny, tiny amounts of colour to this. There, isn't that better? Now, you see, the reason this is working now at the moment is because, and let me explain, okay? I have a yellow here, and I'm blending it into a pinky background. So that's why it's not going green. But if I was to do this over here by the blue, it would go green straight away, okay? So that's why, bear in mind, I'm doing this on the pinky side of the sky. So it's merging into that pink down below, and it's creating lovely colours like oranges and all those different types of tones, you see? Because the yellow is mixing with the pink, and it's making a lovely warm colour. But if I was to do it over on the blue side, it would probably end up going green, and you'd have green tones going through it, and it wouldn't look very nice at all. So that's just what I'm trying to show you, okay? And look, I'm just softening everything together now with my brush back into that pink colour, and even come over slightly into the blue very, very lightly, okay? You see? Soften everything off into the distance. Now we go again. We'll try it again. Let's try a little bit of white, some Naples yellow, and a little touch of crimson. And it's slightly on the pinky side, okay? You can see it there now, it's more of the pink in the mix. Now you can see I'm going into blue there, right? So what I'm going to do is wipe my brush very quickly and pick up an extra little touch of pink. So now it's more pink on my brush, you see? And I'm going to soften that from the yellow over into the blue. So now we don't have any green, do we? And let it soften away out, just like that. There we have two nice little clouds. And then I'm going to put a slightly darker version. So some crimson, tiny bit of blue. So I'm going to put a slightly darker cloud kind of popping in under here and there, you see? I can see it there on the photograph, there's just little bits of a dark cloud popping in. And let's add a touch more blue into that. And it kind of comes up like this, you see? I'm just following the direction of that cloud. Alright. Now we do have one very, very bright spot right up here, don't we? And for this I'm going to use cadmium yellow for a change. Lots of white. And a touch again of pink. I'm always using a touch of pink in my mixes. And that just takes the harshness, I think, out of the colour. Now, my brush of wipe, and I'm going back into it again. And let's go up here and add that nice bright colour there. So you can see we're kind of brightening it now as we go. More yellow now and more white. A bit more white in that. Very whitey yellow now in this one. Okay, and we have one or two there. And I'll add a little bit just around here as well. Okay. And just for a bit of variety, because this is so bland over here, I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to mix a nice bright pink. And I'm going to add one or two light pinky clouds just over here as well. And that's just to add a little bit of variety to this side of the painting as well. And it gives it a bit of balance as well, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to soften all of this now nice and softly with my blender brush. Okay, just take some of the brush strokes away. I'm going to soften the yellow back into the pink like this, you see, with little tiny flicks like this. Okay, and I'm leaving this out, the outside edge, that hard edge on the outside, I'm going to leave that. Now, how is this all looking? I hope this is looking good from where you can see. Let me sit back now and take a look. Okay, there we go. I'm fairly happy with that. You can add, if you want, you could add a little bit more up here in the way of, let's add a bit more pink perhaps. Some crimson, little touch of magenta. I mean, you could just add a little bit more of that colour over here, just to bring it across that little bit. You know, just to balance the painting out a bit more even. See how simple it was? A couple of little brush strokes. And there we go. Done. And that's a nice little sky now, isn't it? Okay, let's move on to our background. Our background hill colour. And it's just a very kind of a deep purpley colour, isn't it? So I'm going to take some blue. And I'm going to take some crimson. And let me go in there now with this colour first. Now I don't want it too watery. That's a bit watery now for me, so I'm just going to dry my brush and pick up a bit more paint. A touch of white, just a little tiny touch of white, a bit more crimson. I'm keeping it on the kind of warm side of purple. So touch more crimson in this, and let's go up here. Pull that down like that. It gets much darker as it comes across, so let's add more blue, some more pink, making it that bit richer. You see what I mean? And I'm softening it together then gently, you see? Pulling that dark across. Let's keep going. How's that? Now, as it comes over here, you could even take a touch of white, perhaps with a touch of pink, and soften a little bit of that down into it there, okay? Create this nice sort of misty look about it all. Okay, let's take a bit more white, and let's even go across with some nice mist across the distance. Isn't that lovely? So we have a little bit of a misty finish off in the distance. Isn't that nice? I like that, that's quite nice. And what I want to do is, where this warm section in the sky is, right, I want to complement that. So I'm going to take some pink and a little touch of white, and I'm going to just add a little warmth just into that section, just by that part of the sky, you see? Does that make sense? I just want to make it that bit warmer, a little bit warmer. Now, maybe even a touch of Naples yellow. Isn't that better now? And then I'm going to start bringing some little hints of brown. So burnt umber with some magenta perhaps. I want to start introducing a little bit of that here and there. Okay, just like so. And I think that's fine now for the distant mountain. I think that's quite okay. It's not bad at all. So now, let me get some crimson. I need more crimson on my palette. So I'll get some of that. And we're going to move down then nicely, down the painting. And we're going to carry on now across here. Now we have a very rich warm colour coming into it here, don't we? So I'm just going to dampen the corner of my brush very, very slightly. And let's take some burnt umber. Let's take a hint of black. And let's take lots of crimson, okay? Because it's really a warm, reddy brown colour. And just very quickly, let's just go across. Because you can see it's just very loose. Let's just make it nice and loose, come straight across. And I come down here and paint this rock. Big rock here. Another one here. And I'm just painting in a lot of these undertones for later, okay? Now a bit of crimson, bit of black. And let's come across. Okay, let's come across here with this. So it's just a very warm brown, that's all. And then I take a touch of black and a touch of crimson. As it comes across, it's going to get slightly darker. Now you can see I'm sort of dabbing across here and there. So where it meets the background, I'm just keeping it nice and kind of loose. So dabbing it in sort of slightly, just to give it a bit of interest. That's all really, give it some interest. And I know there's a hint of green in this as well. Just around this area, there's little hints of green, which is quite nice. Now I'm going to make a nice purple for the rocks on this side. So without cleaning my brush, take a little bit of blue, a little bit of pink and a hint of white. Okay, I'm just going to put that colour in, paint in the rocks. So you can see now what I'm doing is it's all about just looking at the colours and just putting in the colours where you see them. Does that make sense? That's all I'm doing. Now, see? A bit of purple there. Okay, so we're coming from a nice brown into a nice cool colour. And I might even add a little hint of that purpley colour over here as well. So that's tying everything together then, you see? Bringing it all together nice and as one. Okay, now what I'm going to do, what I'm thinking is this water area here. Now I'm just going to soften this with my finger very slightly, look, just here and there. I want to create some distance in this painting, alright? So just loosen it all up, soften it right back into the distant hills. Won't that create a nice, give it a nice feeling of distance. So what I want to do now is I want to just add a touch of green first into this. I'm going to take some yellow and some phthalo blue, and I'll take a hint of pink, and then I'm going to just go along and very lightly dab some of this greeny colour, soften it across. Now I want to go lighter again and warmer, so yellow, and let's take a touch of pink. Okay, so that's a slightly warmer colour now, isn't it? And very gently dab just with the tip of the brush, and because it's a flat brush, look, it's giving me just nice light kind of shapes, impressions of little bushes and that kind of thing. You see? Just very, very light little suggestions, that's all I want. So what I was explaining to you there now just a moment ago was, what I'm going to do is, with this water is, I'm going to just cover this all with an undercoat, a kind of a base layer. And for that, I'm going to take some phthalo blue and a little crimson. No, that's too wet now, that's too wet, so I just dry my brush on my tissue, pick up more crimson, more blue. I'm going to go in and I'm going to cover this. That's still not dark enough, so a bit more pink and a bit more blue. I'm going to cover all of this waterfall area with this nice dark colour. Now it's quite thin, it's a watery colour, okay? It's not too thick. And I want it watery because it'll soak in that bit quicker into the painting, into the canvas. So look, a nice dark rich blue here. I'm going to go along here like that. Just pull that right down. All the way across, from top to bottom. So that'll be drying in while I'm working on other parts of the painting, you see. And I'll do the same with this one. We have a little bit of a water coming across here. Now I'll go a bit darker with that. Okay. Right, so I've all the basic colours in, don't I? You see how I done that? Very, very simple. And I might even add a touch of black here and there, because there is certain parts which are very, very dark. You see, around here there's a bit of a dark spot there. Maybe one or two just here and there, okay? Just little bits. And then I'm going to cover all of this. I'm going to get all this covered in now with a nice blue. It's a kind of a lightish blue, isn't it? Let's take some phthalo blue, some white. Make that nice and rich look. And a touch of pink, let's say. And let's just go along, paint all this in. Again, it's quite thin. It's not a thick pasty colour at all. Alright, so I hope you're able to follow this okay. I hope I'm not making it too complicated for anyone. There we go, right across like that. Soften it all in. Okay, leave it at that, let's sit back. Take another look. That's quite nice. Now, I am aware, well actually what I'm going to do, I was going to do a little bit of the top of the waterfall here, but I might try and get some of the rocks more sort of in shape, okay? So I'm going to start with a bit of brown and a bit of black. I'm going to start with some of these rocks over here. So I'm going to get some of these just painted in here. This one comes up and comes right across, doesn't it? Like so. And we have another one. Let's add a bit of pink into this. We have another one here, which comes across. And I might even go with some darker tones, so a little bit of blue and a little bit of black, I think, as well. And let's take a touch more black for along here. Again, I'm only just indicating the rock face, that's all. I'm not going too complicated with all of this. I might take a touch of blue and a little hint of white, because I can see in here there's a hint of that colour here and there in the shadow. It's like the mist is being pushed up from the water and it's creating this sort of pale, kind of almost a dark bluey kind of a tone going through the painting. Can you see it? Push that up there, look. A little bit of that light colour. Now what I was saying there earlier was, we have this very nice, very bright kind of pinky colour going across. I'm going to take some white and I'm going to take some crimson. Now I want to make this, it's very, very pinky. If you look closely, it's really very pinky. I'm just going to pull that across here and there. And in fact, do you know what now? Let's try a knife. Let's try a palette knife. Yes, it'll be fun, come on. Little bit of Naples yellow, a little bit of white and a touch of pink. And let's go along the top of that and suggest the top of the waterfall, like a bit of a river. Isn't that better now? We're getting more of the effect that we want. And perhaps even a touch more white. And we'll come over here and stop it just around there. Okay, how's that? How easy was that now? Just the top of the waterfall, just along with the knife here and there, job done. And just with a very pointy knife then, I'll take a little bit of black and I'll just kind of refine the riverbank up there, just a little. You see? Just a hint with some black. I think it makes all the difference. Perhaps a bit of burnt umber over on this side. Okay. Now you probably don't notice the difference very much, but I can see it there. Now let's have a look and see how we're doing. Okay. I might add a touch of a kind of a mauve over here. Bit more of it, just on those rocks. And there's a much darker blue coming through this as well. So I'm taking more phthalo blue and a little more magenta. I'm going to just swish that through there with my brush, just a little bit. It's just, there's a very, very dark kind of a colour coming through into that river just there, you see. And again, I might make a very dark purpley colour for some of these rocks just here. Can you see it? Can you see that on camera? And there's a little bit more over here. Right, let's stop now and take a look at what we have. Let's get our bearings and see how it's looking. That's quite nice now, isn't it? How about the waterfall? Should we do the waterfall? Now it's after soaking in just a little, just enough for me to be able to cover with a brush, okay? Now I'm thinking, what brush am I thinking? Maybe a fan brush? We could try some of it with a fan brush. I might do most of it with a kind of a flat, let me see, even my medium stubby brush, I might try some of it with that. Now I'm giving it a good clean, alright? And I'm going to get more blue, because this water is not pure white, it has a blue going through it, okay? So I'm going to take a hint of blue, let's just do it on this side here, okay? A hint of blue and lots of white. Now you could even add a touch of pink into this if you want. You don't have to, but I don't think I will just yet. So you have a very light blue there, okay? Nice bright sky kind of a blue. Now I'm going to try that first. So let me see. Bit more white I'm thinking. Let me try this over here. So let's come across, turn, pull down and lift off, okay? Just like that. Now clean the tip of your brush each time you do this, just to get that dark colour off. Let's try that again. Okay, like so. I might try actually a hint of magenta in this. There's a bit of magenta going on up there. Okay, just like this. Now I'm lifting off as I come down the canvas, very gently. Now it's quite tricky at the beginning. Once you find your rhythm, it gets much easier. Okay, let's try over there. So let's go across, turn over and lift off as it comes down then, okay? You see? I will try a little bit more white here and there as well. Now I'm just going to keep sitting back and looking at what I'm doing. Okay, I might have a go off of the fan brush. I think it's nice to try different different types of brushes. It just keeps it varied. So a bit of blue and a bit of white. Let's try that. And let's come down here like that. Okay. So you can see it's nice and varied. It's not exactly the same all the way across, is it? Now I just want to get the main body of water done. I'm just worried about getting all this middle section done first. Then I will worry about the small little sections after that, alright? So let's try another kind of a brush, just a flat brush. Okay. Now, we have different little sections, don't we? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take some of the white, some of the blue, little touch of the magenta. So very, very light colour there now. I'm going to then go in front of some of these. So let's say we have another one hitting a rock here. Okay. And we might have one hitting a rock there. Okay, see what I mean? And we could even go to a smaller brush as well. We can try a small brush. Small round brush. Pick up some white, a little bit of blue. And let's go along and give it some little highlights. Now would you like me to zoom in for this? Or can you see what I'm doing? I hope you can, I really do. I might just check the camera there now and see if you can see all of this properly. I think you can, can't you? Yes, you can. So a bit of white and a little touch of pink, because some of them are pinky. Aren't they? Some of them are very, very pinky. And perhaps a touch of white with magenta here and there. And we could go along the top here and there and add a little hint of the edge of the waterfall. Now I see a bit of blue here and there. I see a lot of blue popping down. Isn't that a nice colour? I'm just keeping this simple now, okay? I don't want to go over complicated with this painting. I just want to keep it nice and simple. Just to give you an impression of how to approach something like this. So next we have these ones, and let's add a little bit of light into these. So I'm just using my little brush and I'm pulling the colour down and out here and there, look, see? And I will be adding some darker colours through it here and there, like this for instance. And let's take some more white, a little blue, perhaps a little magenta. Let's add a bit of that in there. So I'm going to constantly lighten these now as I go, okay? I'll constantly go at them and lighten them. Let's try a little bit of white, a little touch of blue, and look, we could even go across there like that, add a bit of texture, see? And we could even come down. Then I just take a fan brush and I just pull that down there like that, you see? Now we also have a little one just in the back here, don't we? Let's take some more of that colour and let's go in here, soften it down, just like so. Nice and simple. That wasn't too much trouble. And let's take another bit of that and let's just define some of those. Now what do I want? I want a little touch of magenta with white. That's what I want. Let's just define some of these. Here. And I'm going to go up here and redefine some of these. And let's possibly define this just a little. Okay. Coming on nice, isn't it? And also one or two of these here. Now, there's something I want to do over here on this waterfall. I want to just add a kind of a sparkle of light colour just here and there, okay? So look, with the palette knife and a little bit of white on it, just pull and turn. Just here and there, okay? Just for the tops of the water, just here and there. You see, it's just to add a little bit of sparkle, that's all. And at the very bottom then, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my rough kind of brush. Where is it? Let me find it now for a moment. Where's the brush I had now? What did I do with the brush? Ah, there it is. I'll just take this little brush with some white and a little hint of blue. I'm going to create a nice mist at the bottom of this waterfall here, okay? Just go along, go around in circles at the bottom of the water. Let's pick up some more, perhaps even a touch of pink here and there. Isn't that nice? I'm going to soften this up here and there into the water. And I'm barely touching the paint now on the canvas with this. I'm only just kind of rubbing it very, very lightly across the canvas. Very, very lightly. Okay? Just be careful not to press on too hard. I don't want to disturb that lovely paint underneath, you see. Now, a bit more white, a bit more blue. And we come over here. And we'll go up here onto that one. To the rocks. Again, soften it off. Most of this is just going to be misty, so I'm not worried too much about painting anything down here. It's just going to be a lot of mist in the water. So I just keep going along now, adding this lovely colour across the water. You see how easy this is? It's just so simple. Round in circles, round in circles. Just try it. And I'm sure you will learn something from this tutorial. And also over here, we have a little bit of mist coming up into this one. So I'll take a little bit of blue and a bit of white, and I'll just merge a little bit of mist across into that, and up slightly here and there, you see? And everything then just sort of disappears down into the water, doesn't it? Let's just look back now at the photograph, okay? Okay, now I'm just going to soften. What I'll do first, look, is I'm going to soften all of this out. Alright, like so. Let's just soften all of this across. And then we could add little touches of darker colour if you want, just across here and there. So let's add little darker touches. Let's get a little touch of black with the blue. And let's just run that, flick it from side to side. See, here and there. Just in that corner. And perhaps we could do the same around the centre, just here, look. That little touch of black and touch of blue. It's a nice combination, isn't it? Then clean the brush. Let me get a nice rough brush again. And I'll take more white and more blue. And let's just go in between that, look. I'm just being very sort of loose with this, you see? Just kind of flicking it around here and there. It's all very sort of mystic and misty and mysterious, isn't it? So I want to keep it that, I want to keep that feeling. Now a little tiny bit of mist over here where that water is coming down. And another little bit here. Okay, it's not bad. How's that? Do we like this? Let's put a bit. Now what I will do actually is, you see where these white pieces are? I'm just going to turn and pull some of those down, okay? Just to merge them in. Then I'll add a little bit of white here and there. Okay, and how's that? Are we happy enough with that, people? Now I'll just take a little tiny bit of light blue and I might put a hint of one or two just kind of popping down here and there through those rocks, okay? And you could also take a little bit of black and a bit of brown and add and just kind of refine some of these rocks here and there. Just add a little bit of depth to them, do you know? A little bit of shadow here and there. It won't do any harm. And we can put a little bit around in here, you see? Just little touches. They really do make a difference. You see? So how was that? I have to say now, I'm fairly happy with that painting. Very happy, in fact. I might get some light, I might complement this colour now over here. So I'm going to take a little Naples yellow, and I'll take a little pink. Okay, a little bit of pink, a little bit of Naples yellow, and I might just add a little dab of that here and there to the rocks. And that will just complement that sky. And just possibly add a little touch of it just here and there on this. Now, would you agree? I think that makes a difference. So let me zoom in now and show you what we have created. Now that's pretty much it. You could keep going if you want. I might soften some of that sky colour. I might make it a bit more pinky because I think it's probably a little bit on the yellow side for me. So I might just take a little touch of pink and soften it ever so slightly. It's a little bit on the brash side, isn't it? Let's call it a little brash. So I'll soften that with just a little bit of pink, okay? Just a hint. There, I think that helps already, doesn't it? Perhaps even just take a hint of white. Just put a dab of white just here and there on it. And there we are. Let me zoom in now and show you what we have created. Isn't that lovely? Now you can begin to see the colour, you see? You can make out the colour much better now, can't you? A lovely warm sky. You see, you have a warm and a cool sky in the same painting, and that's wonderful. A nice soft background with easy brush strokes. Keep it simple. Nice and simple. A little bit of knife work up in the background for the top of the waterfall. And then we came down. Very simple. Keep it nice and easy. Well, I forgot one corner, didn't I? Huh? Well, how silly am I? Look, I forgot this. Let's take a bit of black, a bit of brown, and a bit of red. And let's just fill this in here. And then, with my little rough brush again, my very rough edged kind of brush, I'll take a little pink, and I'll take some Naples yellow, and perhaps a touch of yellow as well. And I'm just going to dab, 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 just to add a little bit of light onto that. Look, boom, 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 just like that. And then I'll take a bit of black and add some little crevices, that type of stuff, little details, and we're done. Now I have a frame for this. Will we stick it in the frame? I do have a lovely frame made, believe it or not, and I'm delighted to show you this frame. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Put that over there. Let's hope it don't fall, scratch our wonderful painting, and look at that. Isn't that just wonderful? All that's left for me to do now is sign this and see if I can sell it to somebody very lucky to have my painting hanging in their home. Look at that. There's one little part of this that I can see now which is just standing out a little bit much. Look, this little bit of water there, let's just soften that down. There, isn't that better? So there we go. Frame back on, and that's it. Thank you very, very much for watching. It has been an absolute joy painting for you today. Turn the camera. Now, I'm very happy with that. I knew that was going to turn out nice because of these warm and cool colours kind of hitting off each other. But yes, I'm very happy with this. Stay tuned for more. Thank you so, so much for all your support. You'll give me loads of confidence. Frame fell. You'll give me loads of confidence, and I hope I'm giving you confidence, and I hope I'm inspiring you to try different things and just be calm about it all. Don't stress, don't worry too much about getting something right. If it doesn't work, just rub it off with a bit of tissue or something and start again, okay? It's only paint. So go on, try that. I'd love to see how you get on. Until next time, this is Stephen Conway Oil Painting signing out, and have some fun with this. Keep it simple, just have a bit of fun, okay? Thank you so much.